Hey everyone, welcome to episode 50 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. Yes, this is episode 50, the big 5-0. Thank you, first off, to everyone who's been listening along the way, friends, strangers, whatever the case is. I hope I've improved since episode 1. I'm afraid to go back and listen to what I sounded like and how the podcast went last year, but I'm hoping that things are getting better. And again, it's still in its infancy. I'm still trying to figure out the length of the podcast, if I want to do longer recaps of the matches or just give like a brief summary and then go into straight to my opinion. But again, I thank you along the way for sticking by me. So this week's episode was highlighted by Bayley and Carmella for the NXT Women's Championship, and this was the first of, I think, 3 or 4 tapings that took place at the University of Central Florida, the CFE Arena. The crowd was hyped for this show, very packed. I don't know the exact number of people in the crowd, but it was a good showing. It looked sold out to what I saw, so it's good to see that even in Florida, obviously, it's not. I don't think it's too far from Orlando. They could still sell out crowds. First match on the card was Baron Corbin against Johnny Gargano. The size difference between the two was a nice visual. It played nicely into the match and how each one worked the match. They played the cat and mouse game a little early. Gargano got a couple of cheap shots in and then backed away quickly. Corbin took him down and used his size into an advantage. He landed a few punches and clotheslines and kept Gargano grounded. Johnny Gargano came back with a nice rolling heel kick and a spear through the ropes from the apron. Corbin later caught him with the deep six slam. Gargano got a nice near fall after a super kick. He kept the pressure on and then chased him around the ring. Corbin rolled back into the ring, and then when Gargano entered, he connected with the End of Days to win. It was a good opening match. Like I said, the size difference was effective here. I just can't believe how big, or maybe how small Gargano is, just compared to Baron Corbin. And Gargano working as that scrappy fighter, coming from underneath, coming from behind. It worked well. And Corbin played the bully role, which is where he belongs. That's his character. That's how he works, and it was effective here as well. And the babyface comeback, or the almost babyface comeback by Gargano towards the end, got the crowd into it, and they booed the hell out of Corbin when he won. And he gets a nice win when he comes back from the loss of the triple threat match. We then got a video highlighting, again, the ending of the triple threat match. Sami Zayn gave his comments on facing Samoa Joe one more time. He said he's disappointed, and it's another obstacle in his way. And he said that the match will take place next week, and Corey Graves and Tom Phillips confirmed it, that Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn will face off next week. We then got the Evil Vaudevillains hype video, again, really the same stuff with the evil theme music in the background. Second match was the Hype Bros against John Skyler and Corey Hollis. I dreaded this match. I wrote down that is it bad that I immediately checked out of this match as soon as I heard the Hype Bros music, because that's how uninto them I am. Anyway, the Hype Bros worked over Skyler, and I think it was Mojo that clotheslined them both out of the ring. Hollis and Skyler got some offense in on Ryder in their corner, actually more than I thought they would. Mojo got the cold tag and took out both men. He had a corner splash and then if you remember Monty Brown from the resurrected ECW, his pounce, something like that. They then hit the Mojo hit the hyperdrive, and Ryder connected with the Broski boot. They then connected with the the Hype Rider to Corey Hollis to get the win. A team I hate and a team I don't care about, and then there's Skyler and Hollis. Yeah, seriously though, I could care less about the Hype Bros. Mojo Rawley especially. I like Zack Ryder. I liked him when it was cool, I guess, for everyone to like him, when he had his U.S. title run and the internet was behind him and everything like that. I feel bad for him that he's stuck with Mojo Rawley. This team they lose one week, they win one week. There's just really no consistency behind them, and with the deep tag team division in NXT, they're like the 5th or 6th team on the totem pole, so a win for them really doesn't mean anything in my eyes. Alex Reyes then interviewed both Bayley and Carmella about their match tonight. It seemed that Carmella was losing her accent and it was fading in and out. It sounded like she was talking naturally, and then the next minute it sounded like she was going to her fake New York accent, or her fake Staten Island accent. But both women talked about wanting to be the best, and it wasn't going to affect their friendship. They shook on it, everything like that. Third match was Alexa Bliss versus Cameron. So we have a heel versus heel dynamic going on right now. Interesting. Cameron was aggressive early. She guillotined Alexa over the second rope and then hit a split drop kick. I don't know, she ran off the ropes, did a split, and then one boot connected with Alexa. That's the best way I could describe it. Alexa blocked one of her kicks and then began her turn on offense, and the crowd somewhat got behind Alexa, I guess just because of their hate of Cameron. By default, they have to root for Alexa. Cameron came back with a swinging neck breaker, but her time on top didn't last long. Alexa connected with her springboard knee splash and then the sparkle splash to get the win. It was alright. The crowd just hated Cameron so much that they cheered for Alexa. Cameron's really not good. The match kind of was just filler, more of a showcase to get Alexa over. Maybe down the line she'll get another title shot. But as of right now, and you'll see by the end of the show that it's going to be a little while before Alexa is back in that spot. Enzo and Cass cut another promo on Dash and Dawson. They talked about how they won 2015 Tag Team of the Year, and they're going to go back-to-back in 2016, and they actually started quoting Drake's song back-to-back. And this is where American Alpha interrupted. The reason I kind of have a chuckle in my voice right now is because this whole segment was hilarious. Gable completely said the wrong words. He's like Jordan in 78 or something like that. It was hysterical from the get-go. Jason Jordan said that they won't go back-to-back, and Gable interrupted, said that 2016 is an Olympic year. Kind of threw Jordan for a loop there as he looked confused. Enzo helped him out, saying that 2016 is an Olympic year, and that means you guys are going to win. Colin Cassidy was like, yeah, I don't think that's where you went. I don't think that's where you're going. And Chad Gable was like, no, I went there. I'm layered. And then Enzo just goes like, yeah, Mr. Tiramisu over here. The whole thing was hysterical. You got to watch it. I am not doing it justice. Just the chemistry both teams had was hysterical. They got on the same page after that, and they said that they're going to team up against Dash Dawson, Blake, and Murphy. They didn't say next week or the week after, but they are going to team up, and I'm looking forward to that match. The chemistry, like I said, these four people had on camera. Could only imagine what they can do in the ring, especially Chad Gable. Sorry, Jordan, you have great chemistry too, but Chad Gable is just amazing. Promos in ring, he's just got that likability. I don't know. He's confident, but he's also just relatable, I guess. But you gotta watch back. I watched it actually again, which means I missed the Elias Sampson match. Aww. I'm not really upset about it. I don't even get the guy's name that he fought. He hit a high knee off the ropes and his snap neck breaker to win. It's whatever. We got a recap of the Finn Balor Apollo Crews match from last week. Alex Reyes interviewed Crews about it. He said he doesn't regret asking for the match, and he gave the champ everything he got. He just knows what it takes to be NXT champ, and will be getting a new Apollo Crews soon. Again, Apollo Crews really doesn't do it for me on the mic. He's a great athlete, but his promos, I don't know if it's because they're too scripted, it just doesn't come off as realistic as I thought they would be. But like I said, he's proven me wrong in the ring. He's a great athlete. It's just the promos, they're just missing something. The fifth and final match of the night was Bayley defending her NXT Women's Championship against Carmella. When Carmella was making her entrance, I thought that she's definitely a heel. I don't get why anyone's cheering for her. I get they're positioning her that way because she eliminated Ava Marie in the Battle Royal. They paired her up with Cass and Enzo, so they're positioning her in a babyface role. But the way her character itself acts, she's a heel. She calls herself a princess. No one likes hearing a girl call themselves a princess. And she calls herself the hottest chick in the ring. Who's going to cheer for someone that's that full of themselves? Yeah, I don't know. It just confuses me. And I was actually expecting some sort of heel turn by Carmella at the end of this match. We didn't get it, but I was expecting it for some reason. They hugged before the match, and then they actually both went for a dropkick a little into the match, and at the same time, and they both had like a little standoff. The crowd cheered for it. Bayley connected with a corner splash and a seated clothesline, which then led into the first commercial break. A few moments after that, when they got back from break, Carmella landed a corner boot and a second rope head scissors. Bayley popped right back up and connected with another clothesline. She then landed a power slam from the corner, but got a near fall. Carmella dumped Bayley off the top rope and to the outside. She then hit a diving crossbody through the ropes. She went back in, hesitated a little bit, and connected with the second one. She immediately rolled Bayley back in, but Bayley was able to kick out of 3 consecutive pins, which is a great sequence there. You could see the desperation on Carmella's face, and then after the third pin, you could just see the frustration, like what else does she have to do to pin her friend and to win the championship. She continued with the Bronco Buster and another head scissors, but Bayley countered the submission she was going to and rolled Carmella up. They then went back and forth for about 5 or 6 different pins until Bayley finally got one pin that worked and retained her title. After the match, Bayley picked Carmella up, they hugged again, and Bayley raised Carmella's arm. Carmella left and gave Bayley the ring to celebrate. Off camera, Ava Marie and Nia Jax attacked Carmella. Bayley left the ring and went for the save, but she was outnumbered. Nia Jax and Ava brought Carmella back into the ring, and the crowd was letting them have it. They were booing. There were chants of "You can't wrestle." Jax hit Carmella with 2 leg drops, and at this point, Asuka walked out and stared the 2 heels down. She walked in the ring and slowly approached Nia and Ava, and the heels left the ring. Bayley crawled back into the ring, checking on her friend, and stood up. They were all staring down the heels as they walked back up the ramp. And at this point, Asuka turned around and looked at Bayley, and the crowd erupted. Just the thought of having Bayley versus Asuka, I think all the crowd creamed their pants. Asuka was staring her down. She had that smirk on her face. She actually grazed the NXT Women's Championship and then walked away. So they're definitely planting the seeds for some sort of Bayley and Asuka match. I heard that's the rumored match for NXT TakeOver Dallas. So we'll see how that gets built up, but just that final sequence alone made up for the average match that it was. There were some great spots in the main event, but it wasn't anything like, obviously, Sasha and Bayley or any other TakeOver match. But for a TV main event, it was a good match. And like I said, that last segment before the show closed was great as well. Carmella looked a lot better in this match, definitely better than she looked in the match against Emma. But it's a little early for Carmella to be in this kind of spot. She just needs to work a little harder in her ring, just smooth things out. She's good. She's got a great moveset. Just some smooth out the rough edges there. After that, we actually got a backstage segment with Samoa Joe. He gave his comments on the decision to have a singles match. He said that Joe saved Sami Zayn's career and his life from the attack on Kevin Owens last year, and that he's going to defeat him. But overall, it was a decent episode. The Gargano and Corbin match was good. I liked it. And the main event was good, especially the final segment. I also liked the interview. Obviously, I can't rave about this enough. The segment between Enzo Cass and American Alpha. It was just great humor. Just great back and forth between the two teams. Everything else pretty much was just filler. The Alexa Bliss match was whatever. Elias Sampson I can give 2 shits about. And the Hype Bros, again, same thing. Just 3 acts that I really don't care. Well, I care about Alexa. She's a great heel. But just the matches and the Hype Bros and Elias Sampson, I don't care. That middle portion of the show was just blah to me. So next week we do have Sami Zayn against Samoa Joe. And I think the 8-man tag is next week. They didn't really say, so I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. That it might be in 2 weeks we'll get that 8-man tag. But we're definitely getting a Sami Zayn Samoa Joe main event. Alright guys, that was episode 50 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. If you guys want, follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. Rate, review the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, wherever else you guys get your podcast. I appreciate that. And I'll be back next week with episode 51. Peace.